Daniel Harper stood at the window of his office and watched the morning sun rise over New Haven Colony. The golden light spread across the agricultural fields where crops grew and neat rows. Children laughed and played in the central square below there. Voices carried up through the warm air. 15 years had passed since the first colonists arrived on Terranova. What started as a small outpost had grown into a thriving community of 12,000 people. Daniel smiled as he watched his own two children run past with their friends. Life here was everything Earth promised it would be: peaceful, safe, and full of opportunity. Linda Morrison checked her security console for the third time that morning. Something felt wrong, but she could not explain what. The sensors showed normal readings across all sectors. No ships approaching, no unusual activity in orbit. Yet her instincts screamed at her to stay alert. 20 years in Earth military service taught her to trust those instincts. She activated the communication system and spoke to her small security team. Run a full diagnostic on all defensive systems, she ordered. Something does not feel right today. Her team responded quickly and began their checks. Kevin Price walked through the greenhouse complex with his teenage daughter Amy. She asked questions about the hybrid crops they were developing. Her curiosity reminded him so much of her mother. His wife died 3 years ago during a medical emergency. Since then, Amy became his entire world. Dad, when will these be ready for harvest? Amy asked. Kevin examined the plants carefully before answering. About 2 more weeks, he said with a smile. Bees will feed the whole colony for months. Amy beamed with pride at her father's work. They moved to the next section where younger plants were just beginning to sprout. Patricia Yang finished treating a young boy who scraped his knee while playing. She applied a bandage and gave him a piece of candy. His mother thanked her, and they left the medical center. The day seemed routine and quiet. Patricia enjoyed these peaceful days. Her career on Earth involved trauma centers and emergency medicine. Coming to New Haven meant a slower pace and a chance to help families instead of treating battlefield casualties. She never imagined she would prefer colonial medicine to her prestigious position back home. But watching the community thrive made every day worthwhile. The alarms started screaming at exactly 1000 hours. Linda's console lit up with red warnings. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Large vessels. Military configuration. Her blood went cold. All security personnel to defensive positions. She shouted into the communication system. Activate emergency shelters. Get everyone underground now. Daniel heard the alarms from his office. His assistant burst through the door with panic in her eyes. Ships overhead. She gasped. Unknown vessels. Heavily armed. Daniel grabbed his communicator and opened the colony-wide channel. This is Administrator Harper, he said, keeping his voice steady. All residents proceed immediately to emergency shelters. This is not a drill. Move quickly, but do not panic. He ran from his office toward the residential district where his children attended school. The sky above darkened as massive ships blocked out the sun. Kevin grabbed Amy's hand and pulled her toward the nearest shelter entrance. Other colonists ran in the same direction. Families clutched children close. The elderly moved as fast as their legs allowed. Explosions erupted across the colony. Fire and debris rained from above. The communications tower vanished in a ball of flame. Kevin pushed Amy ahead of him into the shelter entrance. Keep going, he yelled. Get to the deepest level. Linda coordinated the evacuation from her security post. Screens showed destruction spreading across New Haven. The aliens were not targeting military installations. They were hitting everything: homes, schools, farms, hospitals. This was not a military strike. This was extermination. She grabbed her rifle and headed for the main shelter. Duty was to protect the people. Patricia helped elderly patients into the underground medical bunker. The building shook as explosions grew closer. Medical supplies fell from shelves. A young nurse screamed as part of the ceiling collapsed. Patricia pulled her to safety and pushed her toward the bunker entrance. Get everyone inside. Patricia ordered. We need to seal the doors. More explosions rocked the building. Daniel reached the school. Just as teachers were ushering children underground, he found his son and daughter in the crowd. Relief flooded through him. Dad! His daughter cried and ran into his arms. Held both children close for a moment. Go with your teachers, he told them. Stay together and stay safe. I love you both. His son looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes. Are you coming with us? Daniel wanted to say yes more than anything, but he was the administrator. His duty was to everyone in the colony. I will come soon, he promised. Now go. He watched them disappear into the shelter before turning back to help others. The ground shook violently. Alien ships landed across the colony. Troops poured out. Heavily armed and methodical, they moved through the streets in organized groups. Hunting Linda fired at the first aliens. She saw her shots hit their armor, but barely slowed them. They returned fire with devastating energy weapons. Two of her security officers fell instantly. She ducked behind cover and kept shooting. More colonists joined her, using whatever weapons they could find. Farmers with hunting rifles, miners with industrial tools. They fought desperately against impossible odds. The aliens breached the first shelter within an hour. Screams echoed through the underground corridors. Patricia tried to barricade the medical bunker doors. The aliens cut through metal like paper. She stood in front of her patients. You will not touch them, she said firmly. The alien soldiers showed no hesitation. Energy bolts filled the room with blue light. Patricia felt burning pain, and then nothing. Kevin held Amy and 20 other children in a hidden storage room. They huddled together in darkness. Footsteps echoed above them. Heavy boots on metal floors. Alien voices speaking in harsh, clicking sounds. The door exploded inward. Light flooded the hiding place. Kevin pushed the children behind him. Please, he begged. They are just children. The aliens dragged them out one by one. Daniel recorded his final message on his personal devices. Hands shook as he spoke. This is Administrator Daniel Harper of New Haven Colony. We are under attack by unknown alien forces. They showed no warning, made no demands. They are killing everyone, civilians, children, everyone. If anyone finds this, tell Earth what happened here. Tell them we died as humans. Tell them we died together. The shelter door burst open. Alien soldiers flooded in. Daniel stopped recording and stood to face them. Linda died, defending the main shelter entrance. Her body fell across the threshold. She refused to surrender. Patricia died, shielding patients who could not defend themselves. Kevin died thinking of his daughters. Smiled. 12,000 people died on that day. Aliens were thorough and methodical. They left no survivors when the killing ended. The alien ships departed New Haven. Burned structures collapsed into rubble. Bodies lay in streets and shelters. Smoke rose into the evening sky. The alien fleet jumped to hyperspace and vanished. Silence fell over the dead colony. Only the automated distress beacon continued transmitting, a mechanical voice repeating the same message into empty space. New Haven Colony requesting assistance. New Haven Colony requesting assistance. No one answered. No one came. Not yet. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of Krathian territory. 500 warships spread across space in perfect formation. Commodore Andrew Blake stood on the bridge of the Vengeance. His battle group formed the vanguard of Admiral Christina Bell's Armada. Michelle Torres commanded her destroyer squadron on the fleet's outer screen. Gregory Walsh's experimental weapons division attached to the main fleet. There, new technology would soon be tested in combat. All ships reporting. Ready. Commodore. His tactical officer reported. Andrew studied the sensor displays. Krathian space lay before them. 20 systems under their control. Hundreds of colonies and military bases. Open a channel to the fleet, Andrew ordered. All ships. This is Commodore Blake. Maintain formation and advance. Rules of engagement are clear. Military targets only. Any colony that surrenders will be spared. We are here for justice, not conquest. The fleet moved forward as one massive entity. Within hours, they encountered their first Krathian patrol 20 warships guarding the border system. The Krathian commander broadcast a message in broken human language. Human ships, you violate Krathian territory. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. Andrew responded coldly. Krathian vessels, you are accused of genocide against New Haven Colony. Surrender, and you will be treated according to military law. Resist, and you will be destroyed. He ordered the transmission of New Haven massacre footage. The Krathian commander watched in silence then. The alien ships opened fire. Plasma bolts crossed space toward the human fleet. The lead human ships took the impacts on their shields. Michelle's destroyers broke formation and accelerated Gregory. Walsh's experimental railguns activated the weapons. Were twice the size of standard human armament. They fired projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. The range advantage was devastating. Human ships engaged from distances. The Krathians could not match. The first Krathian vessel exploded before their weapons even came in range. Then the second. Then the third. Missile swarms launched from human cruisers. Advanced AI guidance systems analyzed and adapted to Krathian defenses. Electronic warfare systems jammed enemy communications. The Krathian ships tried to close the distance. They never got the chance. 15 minutes after the battle began, 19 Krathian warships were debris. One heavily damaged vessel remained. Andrew ordered cease fire. Let them go, he commanded. They will carry the message to their leaders. The surviving Krathian ship limped away at maximum speed. Human casualties. Zero. Michelle returned her destroyers to formation. New toys work well, she reported with grim satisfaction. Gregory's voice came over the command channel. Weapon systems performed beyond expectations. Commodore, we can engage them at ranges where they cannot touch us. Our shields can absorb their plasma weapons with minimal damage. Admiral Christina broadcast to the entire fleet. The Krathian Empire refused our demand for justice. They chose war. We will give them war. Advance to the next system. The fleet moved deeper into Krathian space. News of the border battle spread ahead of them. Krathian colonies panicked. Some evacuated. Others sent desperate pleas to their military command. The Krathian government issued defiant statements. They claimed New Haven attacked first. They called humans dangerous invaders. They promised total victory. The lies only made humanity angrier. System by system, the human fleet advanced. Krathian military installations were systematically destroyed. Orbital defense platforms turned to scrap. Supply depots obliterated. Shipyards reduced to floating debris. But human ships avoided civilian targets. When Krathian colonies surrendered, they were left unharmed. When they resisted, only military facilities were hit. Andrew made the distinction clear in every system. We are not like you, he broadcast after each battle. We do not murder civilians. We do not kill children. We fight soldiers and destroy military power. That is the difference between humans and monsters. Michelle's squadron hunted Krathian supply convoys. The aliens tried to move equipment and personnel between systems. Human destroyers intercepted them with ruthless efficiency. Convoys were boarded. Crews captured. Ships seized. Intelligence gathered from prisoners proved valuable. Gregory analyzed captured Krathian technology. Their weapons are powerful but inefficient, he explained to Andrew. They rely on raw plasma energy. No subtlety, no precision. Our railguns are lower energy, but far more effective. We hit harder at longer range with better accuracy. Their shields cannot handle kinetic impacts at these velocities. Andrew nodded. How long can we maintain this pace? Our munitions? We are using ammunition efficiently, Gregory replied. Railgun rounds are simple metal projectiles. We can manufacture more from asteroid material if needed. Missiles are more limited, but we brought substantial reserves. At current usage rates, we can fight for months. The Krathians We'll run out of ships long before we run out of ammunition. The fleet reached the 5th Krathian system here. They found a larger defensive force, 80 warships backed by orbital defense platforms. The Krathian commander broadcast his challenge. Human fleet, you face the might of our empire. We destroyed your weak colony easily. Now we will destroy your fleet. You should have stayed in your own space. Andrew felt cold rage at the mention of New Haven. Admiral, requesting permission to lead the assault. Christina's voice was equally cold. Permission granted. Commodore, show them what humanity can do. Andrew's battle group accelerated toward the Krathian formation. All ships. This is Blake. We are going to hit them hard and fast. For New Haven. For every family they murdered. Make every shot count. The human ships opened fire at maximum range. Railgun rounds crossed the distance in seconds. Krathian shields flared and failed under the kinetic impacts before the aliens could react. 10 of their ships were gone. Missile swarms followed, hundreds of smart weapons weaved through. Krathian point defense explosions rippled across the enemy formation. Michelle's destroyers swept the flanks. They targeted the orbital platforms. Heavy railgun rounds punched through station armor platforms, exploded in brilliant flashes. Krathians tried to adapt. They launched all their fighters. Small craft swarmed toward the human fleet. Human point defense systems activated. Automated weapons tracked and eliminated targets. Fighter craft vanished by the dozens. The survivors turned back 1 hour into the battle. The Krathian force was broken. 70 ships destroyed. 10 surrendered. Human losses. 4 ships with minor damage. The remaining Krathian vessels fled deeper into their territory. Andrew ordered his ships to pursue. Do not let them regroup. Keep the pressure on. They will lead us to their command structure. Intelligence officers analyzed captured data. They identified the commander responsible for New Haven, High Commander Zarkoth Supreme, leader of Krathian military forces. He issued the order to attack the colony. He called it a test of human resolve. He believed humans were too weak to retaliate. The intelligence report included his location, a massive command station in the Krathian home system, protected by their entire remaining fleet. Andrew brought the information to Admiral Christina. We found him, Andrew said simply. Christina studied the tactical data. 300 Krathian warships guarded their homeworld orbital defense networks, fighter squadrons, everything they had left. How long to reach their home system? She asked. 2 days at current speed. Then we end this war in 2 days. Christina decided. Inform the fleet. We are going straight to their capital. Zarkoth will answer for New Haven. The human fleet gathered its forces. Damaged ships sent back for repairs. Vessels joined from Earth supplies, redistributed munitions. Restocked. The final battle approached. Andrew walked through his ship. He visited every department: engineering, medical, weapons, crew quarters. He spoke with his people. We are close to the end, he told them. The aliens who murdered New Haven are waiting. They have their entire fleet ready. They think their numbers will save them. But we have something they do not. We remember every face from New Haven, every child, every family. We fight for them, and we will not fail them. The crew responded with determination. They were ready. Michelle found Andrew on the observation deck. They stood together looking at the assembled fleet. Do you think this will bring them peace? Michelle asked quietly. The colonists who died? Andrew considered the question. No. He finally answered. Nothing brings back the dead. But justice matters. We cannot let evil go unpunished. If we do, it will happen again. To someone else's colony, someone else's family. We stop it here. Michelle nodded. For New Haven then. For New Haven. The fleet jumped to hyperspace destination. Krathian homeworld. High Commander Zarkoth waited with confidence. He had numbers on his side. 300 ships to humanity's 500. His species invented plasma weapons. Humans were newcomers to galactic warfare. He would crush them. prove Krathian superiority, show the galaxy that attacking humans carried no consequences. Did not understand humans yet, he would learn the hard way. The human fleet emerged from hyperspace above the Krathian. Homeworld 500 warships against 400 defenders. The Krathian home fleet formed a defensive sphere around their planet orbital stations, bristled with weapons fighter squadrons. Filled the space between capital ships, High Commander Zarkoth stood on his command station and watched the humans arrive. His confidence remained unshaken. Inferior species. He muttered in his native language. They bring their entire fleet to die at our homeworld. He opened a broadcast to the human ships. Humans, you have made a grave mistake. You attacked the heart of the Krathian Empire. Here you will find only death. Your colony was weak and pathetic, just like your species. Now you will join them in extinction. Admiral Christina Bell received the transmission on her flagship. She did not respond with words instead. She broadcast the footage from New Haven children executed in their school families, murdered in their shelters. Patricia Yang dying while protecting her patient. Kevin Price holding his daughter as Krathian soldiers dragged them away. Daniel Harper's final message. Every ship in both fleets received the transmission when it ended. Christina finally spoke. High Commander Zarkoth, you murdered 12,000 innocent people. You killed children who never harmed anyone. You destroyed families who wanted only peace. Today, humanity delivers justice. Today, you answer for every life you took. All ships, engage at will. The human fleet opened fire. Commodore Andrew Blake's battle group led the assault. His vanguard ships accelerated toward the Krathian. Formation railgun rounds crossed the distance at relativistic speeds. The first Krathian ships exploded. Before they could react, Michelle Torres brought her destroyer squadron around the enemy. Flanker ships moved with precision and speed. They targeted the orbital defense stations. Heavy rounds punched through armor and shield stations, broke apart in cascading explosions. Gregory Walsh's experimental weapons division unleashed their newest creation, kinetic bombardment platforms, massive railguns that could fire from extreme range. Each round carried enough energy to shatter a capital ship. The platforms rotated and fired in sequence. Krathian vessels vanished in brilliant explosions. Ark watched his defensive formation crumble. 20 ships gone in the first minute, 30 more in the second minute. All ships, advance, he screamed. Close the distance. Their weapons are superior at range. Get close and overwhelm them. The Krathian fleet surged forward, but human tactical doctrine anticipated this. Christina's cruisers launched missile swarms. Thousands of smart weapons filled the space between the fleet's AI. Guidance systems identified and prioritized targets. Krathian point defense tried to intercept them. The sheer number overwhelmed their systems. Missiles slammed into hulls and shields. More Krathian ships died 1 hour into the battle. The Krathians lost 100 ships, human casualties, 17 ships with damage, 2 destroyed. The mathematics of war became clear. Human weapons technology dominated completely. Range, accuracy, power, all superior. Krathian numbers meant nothing. Against such advantage, Zarok realized he was losing. Formed defensive sphere. He ordered desperately, protect the command station. Use the civilian orbital platforms as shields. The remaining Krathian ships pulled back. They positioned civilian manufacturing stations between themselves and the humans. Refugee vessels clustered around. Military ships. Zarkoth broadcast a threat. Humans, if you continue your attack, civilians will die. Their blood will be on your hands. Withdraw now, or I will bombard my own planet. I will kill millions to stop you. Andrew heard the threat and felt disgust. This creature murdered families without hesitation. Now, he used his own people as shields. Admiral requesting permission to lead boarding action on the command station. Christina understood immediately. You want to go in and get him personally? Yes, Admiral. He does not get to hide behind civilians. He does not get to escape justice. Christina considered the tactical situation. The battle was won. Krathian military power was broken, but Zarkoth could still cause massive civilian casualties. Permission granted. She decided, take a strike team, bring him back alive. He will face trial for what he did. Andrew assembled his force, 200 Marines. Best combat troops on the Vengeance. Michelle volunteered immediately. I am coming with you, she said firmly. Andrew nodded. He expected nothing less. Gregory provided specialized equipment. These shaped charges will breach their armor. These scanners will track Krathian life signs. These communicators work on their frequencies. And these... He handed Andrew a weapon, experimental electromagnetic rifles. Non-lethal, but completely incapacitating. For when you find Zarkoth, the strike force boarded combat dropships, fast vessels designed for assault operations. They launched from the Vengeance and accelerated toward the command station. Krathian fighters moved to intercept. Michelle's destroyers provided covering firepoint. Defense systems eliminated the fighters. Electronic warfare systems jammed Krathian communications. The dropships punched through the defensive screen. Gregory's penetrator missiles cleared the way. They slammed into the station shields and overloaded them. The dropships attached to the station hull boarding. Teams cut through the armor. Marines poured into the corridor. Krathian soldiers met them with plasma weapons. The confined spaces erupted in violence. Human Marines advanced with disciplined fire. Their armor absorbed plasma impacts. Their weapons fired armor-piercing rounds. Krathian defenders fell back. Andrew led his team toward command center. Gregory's scanners identified the route. Heavy blast doors blocked their path. Shaped charges made quick work of the obstacles. Team moved deeper into the station. They encountered heavier resistance. Near the command center, elite Krathian guards in powered armor. The corridor became a killing zone. Marines took cover and returned fire. Michelle flanked the position with her squad. They caught the guards from the side. The elite Krathians fought to the last, but human tactics and weapons prevailed. The final door to the command center loomed ahead. Andrew planted charges on the locking mechanism. Reach in 3, 2, 1. The door exploded inward. Marines flooded into the command center. Zarkoth stood in the middle of the room. 6 more elite guards surrounded him. Weapon consoles lined the wall. Screens showed the battle outside. Human ships dominated completely. The Krathian fleet was scattered and broken. Human. Zarkoth hissed in accented English. You dare come to my station. You dare face me directly. Andrew stepped forward, his rifle pointed at the High Commander. You murdered children, Andrew said coldly. You slaughtered families. You destroyed people who never harmed you. I watched their bodies. I saw what you did. Zarkoth showed no remorse. They were weak. He spat. Your species is weak. That colony was a test. We needed to know if humans would fight back. Now I know. You are worthy enemies. But you are still weak. Andrew felt rage burn through him. This creature killed 12,000 people as a test. You tested the wrong species. Zarkoth gestured to his guards. Kill them all. The elite Krathians raised their weapons. Andrew's team fired first electromagnetic rifles discharged with crackling energy. The Krathian guards collapsed. Their nervous systems overloaded. Zarkoth reached for a weapon. Michelle shot it from his hand. He staggered back against a console. You cannot kill me, Zarkoth said. I am High Commander. My people will never surrender. They will fight forever. Andrew walked up to the alien. He grabbed Zarkoth by the armor. You are going to stand trial. Andrew said, you are going to face justice. You are going to answer for every single person you murdered. And then you will spend the rest of your miserable life in prison, thinking about what you did. Zarkoth laughed. Your mercy is weakness. You should kill me now. Kill me, or I will escape. I will rebuild. I will come for Earth itself. Andrew considered it. Wanted to pull the trigger and this creature here and now, but that would make him no better than the Krathian's justice required law. Not revenge, secure him. Andrew ordered his marines. We are taking him back to the fleet. Zarkoth was bound and dragged from the command center. Andrew activated the station communication system. All Krathian forces, this is Commodore Blake of Earth Defense Force. Hi. Commander Zarkoth is captured. Your fleet is broken. Your defenses are destroyed. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to military law. Continue fighting, and you will be destroyed. You have 5 minutes to decide. The Krathian fleet. Commanders watched their leader taken prisoner. They saw their forces scattered. They saw human ships still fresh and ready one by one. They powered down their weapons. White flags of surrender broadcast across all frequencies. The Battle of Krathian homeworld was over. Human victory was complete. 380 Krathian warships destroyed. 20 surrendered. Human losses: 47 ships damaged. 3 destroyed. 2,000 personnel lost. Against 12,000 civilians murdered at New Haven. The mathematics of justice. Andrew stood on the command station. Bridgie looked down at the Krathian homeworld. Millions of civilians lived there. Innocent. People who had nothing to do with Zarkoth's crimes. He could bombard the planet, give them the same fate they gave New Haven, but he would not. Humanity was better than that. All ships. Cease fire, Admiral Christina ordered. Secure the surrendered vessels. Treat the wounded. We are soldiers, not murderers. We came for justice. And justice is done. Michelle stood beside Andrew. What happens now? Now comes the hard part, Andrew replied. Winning the war was easy. Winning the peace will be harder. Captain Andrew Blake had served in Earth Defense Force for 20 years. Thought he had seen everything war could offer. The EDF Vengeance cruised along the outer border territories on routine patrol. His crew of 200 moved through their daily duties with practiced efficiency. First Officer Michelle Torres stood beside him on the bridge. She was young but capable, earning her position through skill and dedication. Captain, the communications officer called out, picking up an automated distress beacon. Source is New Haven Colony. Andrew frowned. New Haven was a peaceful farming colony. No military presence. No strategic value. How long has the beacon been transmitting? At least 7 days, sir. 7 days without acknowledgement meant something was very wrong. Change course, Andrew ordered. Maximum speed to New Haven. Michelle, assemble a landing team. The ship changed direction and accelerated toward the colony. 3 hours later, the Vengeance dropped out of hyperspace near Terranova. What they saw made the bridge crew fall silent. The colony was dark. No lights. No communication signals. No ships in orbit. Smoke still rose from dozens of locations on the surface. Scanner readings? Andrew asked quietly. The sensor officer worked his console before answering. No life signs. Captain, 12,000 colonists registered. Here, I am reading 0 life signs. Andrew felt ice form in his stomach. Take us into orbit. Launch. Scanner drones for detailed readings. Prepare landing teams. With full combat gear, Michelle organized the landing party while Andrew watched the scanner data come. In every reading confirmed the nightmare. No power. No heat signatures from living beings. Extensive damage to all structures. The colony was dead. The shuttles descended through smoke and ash. Andrew led the first team himself. Michelle commanded the second shuttle. Chief Engineer Gregory Walsh came along to examine any intact technology. They landed in what used to be the central square. Now it was a crater surrounded by collapsed buildings. Andrew stepped out of the shuttle. Smell hit him immediately. Death and burning. Spread out, he ordered. Document everything. Watch for booby traps or remaining hostiles. The teams moved carefully through the ruins. Bodies lay Everywhere in the streets, in doorways. Scattered across the fields, men, women, children. Elderly no one was spared. Michelle's voice came over the communication channel. Her voice shook. "Captain, you need to see this." Andrew found her, standing at the entrance to an underground shelter. The door was blown inward, bodies piled inside, all shot at close range. Michelle pointed to the walls. They were hiding. "Here," she said. The doors were sealed. The attackers broke in and killed everyone inside. Andrew knelt beside a woman's body. She died with her arms wrapped around two small children, trying to protect them until the very end. These were not soldiers, Michelle whispered. They were families. Gregory called from another location. "Captain, I found something." Andrew and Michelle joined him at what remained of the administration building. Gregory held a small personal device. This belonged to the colony administrator. Gregory explained, "It has a recording. You need to hear this." He activated the playback. Daniel Harper's face appeared on the small screen. Blood streaked his face, but his voice remained steady. "This is Administrator Daniel Harper of New Haven Colony. We are under attack by unknown alien forces." The recording showed glimpses of chaos behind Daniel, people running. Explosions, screams. They showed no warning, made no demands. They are killing everyone, civilians, children, everyone. Daniel looked directly into the camera. "If anyone finds this, tell Earth what happened here. Tell them we died as humans. Tell them we died together." The recording ended abruptly as the door behind Daniel exploded. The screen went dark. Andrew stood in silence, his hands clenched into fists. 20 years of service taught him to control his emotions, but this broke something inside him. "Get me everything," he said coldly. "Every piece of evidence, every recording, every data file that survived. I want to know who did this and why." The teams worked for 6 hours, documenting the massacre. They found execution sites in every shelter, bodies of security personnel who fought to the last, medical staff who died protecting their patients, teachers who died shielding students. Evidence showed the attackers were systematic and thorough. This was not a battle, it was extermination. Gregory recovered data from damaged security systems. The recordings showed alien soldiers, large reptilian creatures in advanced armor. Their ships bore markings that Andrew recognized. Krathian Empire, a minor power in this region, known for aggressive expansion, but attacking a human colony was an act of war. Michelle's team found one intact classroom. The bodies of 30 children lay at their desks, their teachers sprawled across the doorway. She fought to keep the attackers out. Andrew had to leave the room before he lost control back on the vengeance. Andrew sat in his quarters and watched Daniel Harper's recording again. This man held his colony together to the very end. He gave his people hope when there was none, and he made sure Earth would know what happened. Andrew would not let that sacrifice be meaningless. Activated his secure communication. Linked to Earth Defense Command. Admiral Christina Bell appeared on screen. She was the highest ranking officer in the Earth military. "Admiral," Andrew said, "I am reporting from New Haven Colony. I need to send you data files immediately." Christina's expression grew grave as she received a transmission. She watched Daniel Harper's final recording. She saw the images of slaughtered families. When she looked back at Andrew, her eyes were hard as steel. "Who did this?" "Krathian Empire, Admiral. We have clear evidence, positive identification of their soldiers and ships." Christina was silent for a long moment. Secure the site, she finally ordered, "Document everything. I am convening the Earth Government Council immediately. We will respond to this." The transmission ended. Andrew returned to the bridge. "Michelle, maintain orbit and continue evidence gathering." No one disturbs this site without authorization. Word spread quickly through the ship. New Haven was not just a distant colony anymore. It became personal for every crew member. News reached Earth within hours. The images of massacred families spread across every network. Daniel Harper's final recording played on endless loop. Public outcry was immediate and overwhelming. Humanity demanded justice. The Earth Government Council met in emergency session. Representatives from every nation and colony attended. Admiral Christina Bell presented the evidence. The council chamber fell silent as they watched the recordings. When the presentation ended, the vote was unanimous. Earth would go to while Christina received command of the largest fleet ever assembled. Every warship recalled to Earth, reserves activated, retired officers called back to service. Shipyards began working around the clock. Weapons factories ran at maximum capacity. Veterans volunteered by the thousands. Young people enlisted in waves. The message was clear across all of humanity. New Haven would not be forgotten. Andrew received his promotion to Commodore. He would command the Vanguard Battle Group. Michelle received her own destroyer squadron. Gregory joined the weapons development team. Their new systems would ensure human superiority. 3 weeks after discovering New Haven, the fleet was ready. 500 warships, 1 million personnel, the largest military force humanity ever created. Andrew stood on the bridge of the Vengeance and looked at the assembled fleet. Ships stretched across space as far as sensors could detect. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers, carriers, all waiting for the order. Admiral Christina's face appeared on every screen in the fleet. Soldiers of Earth, she began. We gather here because evil came to one of our colonies. 12,000 innocent people died without warning or mercy. Families, children, farmers, teachers, they lived in peace. They harmed no one, and they were murdered for no reason beyond cruelty. Her voice grew harder. Today we deliver justice. We will find those responsible. We will make them answer for every life they took. They showed our people no mercy. We will show them no hesitation. For New Haven, for humanity. The fleet responded as one. For New Haven, for humanity. Andrew felt the weight of 12,000 ghosts on his shoulders. Daniel Harper, Linda Morrison, Kevin Price, Patricia Young, all those families, all those children, they deserve justice. Humanity would deliver it. The fleet entered hyperspace. 1 million guns pointed at the Krathian Empire. The hunt had begun. Admiral Christina Bell stood before the assembled tribunal. The chamber was located on her flagship, specially constructed for this purpose. Judges from Earth, representatives from allied species, and neutral observers filled the room. High Commander Zarkoth stood in restraints at the center. His elite guards and senior officers stood beside him, all prisoners, all awaiting judgment. The charges were read aloud: genocide, war crimes, deliberate targeting of civilians, murder of children, 12,000 counts of murder. Evidence played on screens around the chamber. New Haven footage showed the systematic execution. Daniel Harper's final recording: bodies of families in their shelters, children killed at their school desks, Patricia Yang dying while protecting patients, Kevin Price and his daughter dragged away to execution. Observers watched in silence, some turned away, others wept. Zarkoth showed no emotion. Commodore Andrew Blake sat in the front row, Michelle Torres beside him. Gregory Walsh attended from the engineering section. They represented everyone who discovered New Haven, everyone who saw the bodies, everyone who vowed the victims would have justice. The prosecution presented its case. Military analysts explained the attack. New Haven had no military capability. The lead prosecutor stated, no weapons that could threaten the Krathian Empire. No strategic value whatsoever. The colony consisted of farmers, teachers, doctors, families. High Commander Zarkoth ordered the attack as a test to see if humans would respond to the murder of their people. He gambled 12,000 lives to satisfy his curiosity. The Krathian defense attorney stood. He was a human lawyer who volunteered to ensure fair proceedings. High Commander Zarkoth claims the attack was preemptive defense. He argues that human expansion threatened Krathian territory. He states that New Haven represented an unacceptable military risk. The prosecutor responded immediately. Then why were no demands made? Why no warning issued? Why no diplomatic contact? New Haven existed for 15 years without incident. If the High Commander feared human expansion, he had years to address it peacefully. Instead, he chose massacre. Video evidence played showing Krathian soldiers executing surrendered civilians. Audio recordings captured their orders. Kill them all. Zarkoth's voice commanded. Leave no survivors. Make it clear what happens to those who enter our space. The defense attorney had no response. The evidence was overwhelming and undeniable witness. Testimony came next. Andrew took the stand. He described finding the bodies walking through the ruins, holding the personal device with Daniel Harper's final message. I have served Earth Defense Force for 20 years. Andrew testified, I have seen combat. I have seen death. But nothing prepared me for New Haven. They did not die in battle. They were hunted and executed. Children in their classrooms, patients in hospital beds, families hiding in shelters, all murdered without mercy. Michelle testified about the security footage. The Krathian soldiers were systematic. She explained, they searched every building, every shelter, every hiding place. When they found civilians, they killed them immediately. No prisoners taken, no mercy shown. This was not war. This was extermination. Gregory presented technical analysis. The Krathian ships were equipped for planetary assault. Their weapons were set to maximum destructive power. They targeted civilian infrastructure first. Communications, power, water, hospitals. Then they landed troops to kill survivors. Every action demonstrates intent to destroy the colony completely. The tribunal heard from galactic observers. Representatives from dozens of species attended. All expressed horror at the footage. In all recorded galactic history, one ambassador stated, we have never witnessed such deliberate targeting of innocent civilians. Wars happen, conflicts occur, but this attack violated every principle of civilized conduct. The Krathian Empire must answer for this atrocity. Zarkoth finally spoke in his own defense. Humans are dangerous. He declared without remorse. They breed quickly, expand aggressively. They are a threat to all established powers. New Haven was a warning, a demonstration that Krathian space is protected. I regret nothing. I would do it again. The chamber fell. Silent, even his own attorney looked shocked. The lead judge, a human with 40 years of legal experience, spoke. High Commander Zarkoth, you have admitted your crimes. You show no remorse for murdering 12,000 innocent people. You threaten to commit the same crimes again if given opportunity. This tribunal finds you guilty on all charges. The other judges concurred unanimously. Sentencing will be pronounced after deliberation. The tribunal adjourned for 6 hours when they returned. The lead judge read the sentence. High Commander Zarkoth, you are sentenced to life imprisonment. You will spend the remainder of your natural existence in confinement. No possibility of parole or early release. Your senior officers who participated directly in the massacre received the same sentence. Those who followed orders under duress will face lesser punishment. Those who protested or tried to stop the massacre will be shown leniency. Zarkoth laughed bitterly. You are weak. He spat. You should execute me. Your mercy will be your downfall. One day I will escape. One day I will return, and I will destroy Earth itself. The judge remained calm. Your threats only confirm the correctness of our decision. You will live. With the knowledge that you failed, you tested humanity and found us stronger than you imagined. You murdered innocents and brought destruction to your own empire. You will have decades to contemplate your mistakes. Remove him. Zarkoth was taken. Away to a prison ship, he would spend the rest of his life in isolation. Earth government convened to decide the Krathian Empire's fate. Some voices called for total occupation. Others demanded complete disarmament. Few extremists wanted revenge in kind. Admiral Christina presented her recommendations. We came here for justice, not conquest. She stated, we have achieved our primary objective. Zarkoth and his direct accomplices are captured. The Krathian military is destroyed. Their ability to threaten human colonies is eliminated. Now we must decide what kind of species we want to be. Do we become conquerors? Do we rule through fear? Or do we demonstrate that humanity is capable of both strength and mercy? Andrew Blake spoke in support. The people of New Haven wanted peace. He said, they built farms, not fortresses. They raised children, not armies. If we respond to massacre with massacre, we dishonor their memory. We must be better than Zarkoth. We must prove that humanity is worth defending. The decision was made. The Krathian Empire would face severe but measured consequences. Their military would be completely dissolved. Only small defense forces for local security. War reparations to be paid over 50 years. The funds would rebuild New Haven and support the victims' familias. Krathian territory would be reduced. Buffer zones established with human monitoring stations. Human observers stationed on Krathian worlds to prevent military rebuilding. Education programs implemented in all Krathian schools. Children would learn the truth about New Haven, about the cost of aggression and the value of peace. Most importantly, no civilian targets were harmed. Human forces maintained strict discipline throughout the occupation. When Krathian hospitals needed supplies, humans provided them. When food shortages occurred, human ships delivered aid. When infrastructure needed repair, human engineers assisted. The Krathian people witnessed something unexpected. Humanity could have destroyed them completely. Instead, humans showed restraint and mercy. Young Krathians began questioning their leaders. Why did Zarkoth attack people who showed us such mercy? They asked. Why did we fear humans when they are more honorable than our own commanders? Seeds of change were planted 6 months after the battle. Andrew Blake returned to New Haven. The ruins remained untouched. A memorial was being constructed. Black stone walls inscribed with 12,000 names. Daniel Harper, Linda Morrison, Kevin Price, Patricia Yang. Every single victim listed their stories, told their lives. Remembered. A recording system played Daniel Harper's final message on repeat. Tell them we died as humans. Tell them we died together. Michelle Torres stood beside Andrew at the memorial. Do you think they would be proud? She asked, quietly, of what we did? Andrew considered the question carefully. I think Daniel Harper wanted his people remembered. He wanted Earth to know what happened. We gave him that. We brought justice for every life lost here. But more importantly, we did it without becoming monsters ourselves. We could have killed millions of Krathians in revenge. We chose not to. I think that would make them proud. The memorial was completed 1 year after the massacre. Colonists returned to rebuild. New Haven volunteers came from across. Human space engineers, farmers, teachers, doctors, people who wanted to honor the fallen by continuing their dream. Among the volunteers were 3 young Krathians. They came seeking redemption for their species' crimes. Human colonists welcomed them cautiously, but they were allowed to help to learn to understand what their empire destroyed. Admiral Christina Bell retired from military service. She wrote a detailed account of the war. The book became required reading at military academies. Victory in war is easy. She wrote in the conclusion, any species can destroy. True strength lies in knowing when to show mercy. The test of civilization is not how effectively you can kill your enemies. It is whether you can build peace after defeating them. Andrew Blake was promoted to admiral. He took command of Earth Defense Force. His first order established new protocols. Human forces will defend our people without hesitation. The order stated,